Yes, I know. It's been a minute. But guess what? Your boy has finally got to what he promised y'all. And we have, and you already know what it's time for. It is your boy Reaper the Car here, and today we have a video on what if the village never accepted Naruto Uzumaki Part 2. Alright then, let's get right into it because I know y'all been waiting. Okay, last we left off, the tuning exams have just started to get interesting and very steamy with the introduction of Neji into this equation. And that fight would go as followed. Him. At first, Neji would exactly shut down every single chakra point in Naruto's arsenal to keep him from using his chakra inside of him, aka Kurama, or Kurama, if you will, because I ain't gonna lie, the way I pronounced it in my last video, I don't know, I wasn't feeling it, it wasn't saucy enough for me. But anyways, as he's shutting down the chakra points, hitting him in every single inch that has any type of chakra flow to it, Naruto is desperate to unleash his inner rage. And so, I'm gonna say he's pushed a little bit farther than just staged 1 or 2 of his Nine Tails cloak. I'm gonna say he reached 3. Yes, we're going that far. Anyways, as he went 3, Naruto is obviously losing his shiest at this moment. And when I say he's losing it, I mean the boy is like, at this point, basically bloodlusted. Because this is a Naruto completely driven by his rage and hatred alone. And Gara recognizes in the bleachers. Yeah, the boy's in the bleachers. So he's over here watching, and he's seeing a slight twinge of enjoyment watching his friend lose his controlled mind. Well, relatively controlled. And kind of starts to unleash his Shikaku a little bit. Not too much. Just, sand particles start forming around him, and, your boy starts to kind of lose his shit as well. So as they're both in unison losing their shiest, third Hokage is relatively shook it to the core at this enlightenment. So he decides to intervene and cut the tournament short. And this relatively pisses off Naruto because he was actually really enjoying the fight, contrary to his outburst and anger. But he was enjoying it, so he starts to lash out. And, I want to say Yamato's watching in the bleachers as well, because at this point, Naruto's Nine Tails has become a actual problem in the village. So he's more monitored around the village, more so than he was prior, and more so than Gara was, because Gara, he was out of control, and yeah, he had his slip-ups, but for the most part, he was more isolated than Naruto, I want to say. So at this point, Yamato steps in, and he's right before he's trying to seal him away. Naruto actually smacks him away because he ain't having none of that. He want to lose his shit today. He feel like losing it. So he knocks out Yamato, and he flies pretty far back. I want to say he smashes through the tuning walls, and yeah, it's pretty bad. And so, Kakashi steps in, with pretty much every other significant joining in the story prior steps in to contain Naruto as the fourth cloak begins to engulf his body in this very, very reminiscent scene. You all know it too well. But his skin starts to peel back, and you can see the dark, menacing chakra starting to form into his body. And as that's starting to form, everyone in the tournament stage begins to relatively evacuate as fast as possible because they already know what's finna happen. They feel as though the Nine Tails attack will be repeated, just in a more rapid state and more provoked. So everybody relatively is panicking throughout the entire village, and this is where those two very familiar figures in the background start to step in. And I think Itachi would actually help the village, because at this point, we already know that Itachi is working for the Leaf Village in secret, so he obviously does not want Naruto to actually destroy the village. So, what's going on here? And he puts Kisame in a genjutsu, and then just straight up reveals himself to the village in a very interesting fashion. Not exactly a stoic hero fashion, but just in a way that his presence is known throughout the entire stadium. And so he begins to do battle with Naruto, not using his full chakra reserve because one, it will cause his sickness to get worse, and it will drain his eyesight even faster. Basically, he's only using a little bit of his power, trying not to kill Naruto, but at the same time, definitely trying to, you know, keep him calm and docile for the moment. So he puts him into the infinite, well, not the infinite Tsukiyomi, he puts him in a Tsukiyomi pretty much. And that pretty much just incapacitates Naruto for a minute until Kurama steps in and breaks the Genjutsu, because yes, they can do that. So Kurama breaks the jutsu, and basically Kurama has the wheel. And you can tell by the fact that it's not Naruto's voice speaking anymore. And he says to Itachi that this Genjutsu is familiar, almost as it was 13 years ago when I was controlled the last time. And this relatively shakes Itachi because he had no idea what went down. At that time, he was pretty much, you know, taking care of baby Sasuke at the time. By the way, when I said there's no Sasuke in the last part, I didn't say he didn't exist. I just said that he wasn't a situation at the moment, and I would explain that later, or in a future part, possibly part 3. But anyways, so at this point, it's already becoming clear that Itachi himself cannot handle this by himself. So obviously he can't really ask Kisame for help, because for one, he's not exactly a spy for the Akatsuki. He's full-blown dedicated to them. So at this time, if he awakes Kisame from his Genjutsu imprisonment, I'm pretty sure it ain't gonna be the way you think it's gonna be. He's gonna try to, you know, contain the Nine Tails and complete his mission. So Itachi has to do battle with him alone. And at this point, the Nine Tails is getting pissed off, and Naruto is getting pissed off as well. So they work in unison to fully unleash their power as a Jinchuriki, excuse my French. Anyway, so as they're going back and forth, and as the tails slowly start to climb, Yamato steps in, and without even saying a word to Itachi, he already knows what's up. He knows that there's a bigger plan in place for Itachi, and he can tell by the fact that he's not, you know, trying to destroy the village or attack the village in any way. He's simply trying to contain Naruto from losing his shit. So he actually starts using his little power to restrain the Nine-Tails chakra inside of him before it gets any further. Because at this point, he's to the point where he's at that weird bony chakra cloak stage. I think you know the one. I think it's the Seven-Tail stage. And I will leave this scenario at this point in the story. I don't want to get it too hypothetical, but basically, it's getting really good. So, like and subscribe if you want, you know, part 3 to this. And yeah, see you later.